Welcome to Racing X. Today, we're counting down our picks for the best PC racing games that you should check out. And without further ado, let's dive right in. F125 2026 Season Pack. Okay, this is new. I mean, for the first time in history, EA is not releasing a new annual F1 game this year. Instead, they decided to use F125 as the base and release the 2026 season as DLC. So yeah, finally, no more overpriced bullshit for a game that looks almost identical to last year's version. I mean, a lot of you will agree with me on that one. But still, the OCD part of me would prefer a standalone title every year, as long as it's sold at a reasonable price, obviously. Star Wars Galactic Racer. Alright, this is one to watch if you like racing games and also happen to be a Star Wars fan, which is basically a dangerous combo for your wallet. And from the vibe alone, it feels like a sci-fi version of Burnout thrown straight into the Star Wars universe. I mean, think about it. Fast pods, aggressive racing, chaotic moments, and hopefully enough fan service to keep the nerds happy. So yeah, the idea is strong, the setting is perfect, and the potential is massive. Now, let's just hope they don't fumble the damn thing. Wreckfest 2. Now, this one is still in early access, so don't expect it to be as polished as the first game just yet. And for those of you who don't know, this isn't your typical simcade with sports cars gliding around circuits. This is banger racing. It's total chaos, with smashing, pushing, and crashing. And you know what? The driving physics have a bit more realism than you'd expect, and the damage modeling is fantastic. In short, it's arcade in design, but simulation under the hood. So yes, if you want a wreck-heavy racing experience with great physics, this could be it. NASCAR 25. Okay, finally, the iRacing guys actually managed to lay a solid foundation for this series moving forward. I mean, you can feel the serious racing DNA underneath, even if this is still meant to be more simcade than iRacing. That said, don't expect perfection. A lot of features fans have been begging for still aren't here. And let's be real, some of them probably won't be added anytime soon. So yeah, if you expect the ultimate NASCAR game, you'll complain, but if you want a solid new starting point, this one is worth checking out.
Three wide.
Trackmania. Alright, this game might seem like a racing game, but it's actually geared more towards speedrun-oriented players than traditional racing fans. But still, it has those arcade racing vibes thanks to the physics and the simple, easy-to-learn gameplay. Basically, this game is about executing the right inputs at the right time and failing over and over again to beat your own records. And yeah, the gameplay mechanics are different compared to most arcade racers, but if you enjoy simple racing games and you're obsessed with perfection, there's a high chance you'll like this one. Screamer. If your hairline is already receding, chances are you're starving for solid arcade racers in this era where every tryhard wants ultra-realistic sim racers. And this is where this reboot comes in to give you a great arcade racing experience, complete with anime characters and a story. And honestly, that already sounds pretty fun. However, the twist here is the twin-stick control system, where the left stick steers the car and the right stick controls the drift. And I'm not gonna lie, it feels weird at first, but once it clicks, it's really fun. Need for Speed Unbound. So this game might not be as popular as the previous game, which we'll talk about later, but deadass, it has the most unique visuals the series has ever had, with cel-shaded effects slapped onto hyper-realistic cars. And yeah, some people hated that look so much that they installed mods to get rid of it. Anyway, this game still delivers a solid arcade street racing experience, especially if you like your racing chaotic. So yeah, it might not be as successful as the previous game, but hey, if you enjoy it, that's all that matters. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged. Now, this one is currently the go-to toy car racing game out there. And yes, toy car racing is its own genre, which I'll make a video about later. Anyway, the first game was already great and fun, and this one is bigger and better in almost every way. Plus, it's a Hot Wheels game, and I love Hot Wheels games no matter how bad they are. So yeah, I'm totally biased here. So overall, if you're into fun arcade racing games with toy cars or mini cars, this one, along with the first game, is a must-have.
30. 4 right, cut.
EA Sports WRC. So this game is basically Dirt Rally 2.0's younger, cooler cousin. You know, the one that hits the gym, dresses better, but also eats way more GPU power. Yeah, it's more demanding for your PC, but the payoff is worth it. Better visuals, more detail, and a rally experience that just looks gorgeous in motion. And here's the thing, most of the bad reviews aren't even about the gameplay, so you're good there. So yeah, complaints aside, you've got one of the most solid modern rally sims out there, provided your PC doesn't burst into flames first.
6 right, tightens.
Aero GPX. Now, this is one of the few games that doesn't blatantly try to copy Wipeout games. Instead, it's straight up a love letter to the F-Zero series, and yeah, it actually nails it. The speed, the vibe, the intensity, it's all there. But what makes it different is the amount of airtime. You're constantly flying, boosting, and pulling off maneuvers, so there's a lot more to master here. Basically, it's not just about going fast, it's about controlling that chaos. So yeah, if you're an F-Zero fan, you're gonna have a great time with this one. Tokyo Xtreme Racer. Alright, this is probably the most beginner-friendly game in the series, mostly thanks to all the modern quality of life improvements. And the driving feels more grounded than your average Need for Speed, so if you're decent at simcades like Gran Turismo, you'll probably adapt pretty fast. Also, there's proper tuning here, like springs, dampers, differential, gear ratios, all that nerdy stuff. And let me tell you, properly tuning your car can make a big difference. Anyway, it's not the most complete game ever, but the bite-sized battles make it super easy to play for minutes or hours. Burnout Paradise Remastered. Okay, so this game was the last full-blown Burnout title ever released, which is a shame, especially since Burnout was one of the most legendary racing game franchises of all time. If you know, you know. Anyway, this is the only open-world Burnout game, and although the open world feels empty by today's standards, it's still a blast, especially if you just want to slam into other cars and wreck stuff. And yeah, I think we all agree that a new modern Burnout game is long overdue, right? Let's just hope someone can revive this franchise. Night Runners PROLOGUE. So this one is a free-to-play indie game that takes you deep into the underground scene of Japanese street racing in the 90s. Think Need for Speed Underground, but actually set in Japan. And in this game, you'll join street racing crews, fight for control over territories, and dominate the streets. And as expected, you'll engage in high-stakes wager races, face off against rival crews, and customize your cars. Also, there's an update letting you do Taugei drift races as well. So yeah, if you miss the PS2 era street racing games, definitely check this one out. Forza Motorsport. Alright, this title is positioned as the main rival to Gran Turismo 7, and let's be real, it's basically the closest thing PC players can get to Sony's flagship racing series. But don't expect them to be on the same level though. I mean, I gotta be honest, Gran Turismo feels like it's made by true automotive enthusiasts who live and breathe cars, while Forza Motorsport often feels like it was made just to compete with it. But still, it's a solid simcade racing game overall, and for PC owners, it's obviously the go-to choice. Sonic Racing, CrossWorlds. Now, this is the game that finally dethrones Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed after all these years, and it's not just hype. The user reviews make that pretty clear. A lot of people are straight up calling this the Mario Kart killer. And for once, that claim doesn't sound completely crazy. The tracks are wild, the racing is chaotic, and the Sega fan service is on point. And if you grew up with Sega IPs, this game feels like a victory lap. So yeah, until Crash Team Racing is ported to PC, I can only recommend this one.
Green flag, green flag.
Le Mans Ultimate. So this one is the new kid in the sim racing world, and like any new kid, it's desperately trying to prove it belongs. And obviously, it hasn't dethroned the top dogs yet, but it does have killer VR that'll make you forget you're just sitting in your bedroom wearing a headset. Also, it's built for endurance racing, which means if you have a short attention span, you might bail early. And I know most of you do. But for sim racers willing to try new titles, this could earn a permanent spot in your collection.
Keep middle of a jump to keep middle of a big jump. 100.
Dirt Rally 2.0. Okay, this game isn't for the faint-hearted or those with a short fuse. This simulator demands precision. Make one mistake, and your entire time trial effort can be lost in an instant. I mean, you'll spend hours on tracks that should only take minutes, all just to nail a single flawless run. Basically, making mistakes and refusing to give up is part of the experience here. So if you're ready for a true test of skill and patience, or if you're a jobless basement dweller with too much free time, then this game is definitely worth a look.
All right, tightens gravel. Into 4 left.
Middle there. Hold your line, clear right. On your right.
Automobilista 2. Alright, this is easily one of the best sims for VR because it actually works out of the box. No endless tinkering, no 10-step guides from Reddit, just slap on your headset and race. And if you can crank the settings to Ultra, good luck convincing your friends it's not real, because this thing looks ridiculously good. And sure, you could spend hours tweaking mods in other sims, but why bother? This one saves you the headache and still delivers gorgeous visuals and smooth gameplay. So yes, if you want addictive VR racing with insane graphics, this is it. Need for Speed Heat. Now, this game isn't the newest kid in the franchise, but let's be real, it's still got a bigger player count than Unbound. Why? Because it actually nailed what fans wanted. Great cars, fun racing mechanics, and a Miami-inspired city glowing like a neon fever dream. Not only that, but the aesthetic also screams fast and furious, and honestly, that's the point. It's pure arcade street racing fun. None of those cartoonish visuals and over-the-top action sequences. So yeah, if you just want to drift around corners, customize your ride, and outrun the law, then this is the game.
Clear left. Left side.
iRacing. Okay, this one is the gold standard for anyone who wants to take online sim racing seriously. This isn't for casual cruising or dive-bombing AI, it's where you line up against drivers just as committed as you. The structured licensing system also keeps races clean and the competition is intense, but mind you, it's not cheap. Between the sub fees and the endless drip of paid content, you'll spend more here than on most sims. But if you're serious about improving and want to experience organized online racing at its best, it's definitely worth it.
Take care of business, and as a businessman myself, I respect that. Oh shit!
The Crew Motorfest. Alright, now this is the latest The Crew game, and in my opinion it has the best graphics. And just like the previous game, boats and planes are available, although let's be real, not many people care about them. Also, there are playlists in this game, which are basically handcrafted race events that are fun if you love games with objectives. Anyway, this game will only appeal to certain players. If you love structured, fun, but somewhat repetitive content, you'll probably enjoy it. Basically, this is your typical Ubisoft open world game with tons of objectives and missions. Assetto Corsa Competizione. Okay, this is a fantastic sim racer with tight handling, laser-scanned tracks, and VR that's buttery smooth if your PC is built by NASA. And recently, it's been gaining traction among sim racers, especially since Assetto Corsa Evo has been a letdown during its early access period. Anyway, this one focuses solely on GT racing, so it's a bit more niche, and that keeps some players from jumping ship entirely. But if you're into serious, no-nonsense GT competition and want VR that makes you feel like you're actually strapped in, this is the game. BeamNG.drive. Now, this one isn't really a racing game. Hell, it's more of a driving sandbox with insanely realistic vehicle and soft body physics. Here, you don't just hit a wall, you emotionally experience the wall. Also, if you're comfortable installing mods, this game can become almost any kind of racing game you want. Baja racing, circuit racing, or maybe rally stages, you name it. So yeah, with endless modability, it's basically a physics playground for car nerds. Simply put, it's not traditional racing, but realism-wise, nothing beats this one. Assetto Corsa. So this is basically the GTA of racing games where you can mod it into almost anything. Want to do GT racing with photorealistic graphics? Done. Want to replace your car with a literal T-Rex? Yep, that exists, and yes, you need to check it out. Anyway, the base game already nails driving physics, but the modding scene turned it into an endless playground where the only limit is how far you're willing to scroll through mod websites. And if you add VR and some ultra-realistic graphics mods, the game becomes borderline indistinguishable from real life. Forza Horizon 6. Let me tell you that this is literally the hottest racing game right now. Like, it's everywhere, and honestly, no surprise. This one is set in Japan, which is basically a dream come true for JDM lovers who've been begging for this since forever. I mean, mountain roads, city streets, neon vibes, drift builds, iconic Japanese cars. Yeah, this is basically fan service with a massive budget. Oh, and you'll also be racing against a gigantic Gundam robot, just saying. So yeah, if you can only pick one game from this list, don't overthink it. This is the one. So do you agree with our picks? Check out these other videos from us and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.
Experimental power systems operating at 200%.